From being a Ballon d'Or contender to falling and making faces on the pitch, from promising to play 10 times better to playing 10 times worse, from scoring the most important goals in the Champions League to penalties that fly to the moon, Vinicius Junior's career is a story in itself. Sometimes it seems like he is reviving Jogo Bonito, and other times it seems like he should be stripped of his Brazilian passport. Sometimes he scores great goals, while at others he indulges in stupid whining. So what the hell is going on with him? No matter how he plays, the Brazilian is one of the most controversial footballers in the world, and there are three distinct opinions about him. The first category of people love him as a player and are willing to put up with his character. Real Madrid fans are ready to forgive any of his failures, because he has brought the club many happy moments. The second group respects him as a player, but does not like him as a person. The third category neither respects his game nor his personality and considers him a freak. This explains why many were against him winning the 2024 Ballon d'Or, even among Brazilians. Feelings towards him are mixed. Many people wonder why he performed so poorly for the national team compared to his performances at Real. At one point, a Real Madrid teammate even suggested that the Brazilian seemed to be playing against his own side. These varied reactions accurately reflect his inconsistent performances. He is a player who elicits strong emotions. He is either loved or hated. His game mirrors this dichotomy. He can shine brightly one day and then perform like Braithwaite the next. This pattern holds true for Vinicius Junior, leaving little room for mediocrity. Only a year ago, he was hailed as the world's best player, yet now he is regarded as a significant disappointment. How did such a drastic transformation occur within just 12 months? What factors contributed to this sudden decline? Interestingly, many of the problems I am highlighting in his current form mirror those he faced earlier in his career. Flamengo celebrated his pace and dribbling skills. Nevertheless, even during his time there, not everyone was impressed. During his debut season in 2017, he managed only 4 goals in 32 appearances. As reported by The Athletic, numerous complaints arose regarding his overuse of feints. Critics argued that there was too much focus on individual brilliance rather than teamwork. An illustrative case comes from the South American Under-17 Reals Championship held in Chile. Despite contributing significantly, scoring 7 goals and earning a gold medal, questions persisted concerning his style of play. He scored more in the tournament than in his entire career in Brazil. But despite his individual brilliance, he received criticism from coach Carlos Amadeu. Although Vini excelled offensively, he rarely participated defensively. We observe a parallel issue in Madrid, where both he and Kylian Mbappe often neglect pressing their opponents. Despite these controversies, Vini extended his contract with Flamengo until 2022, securing a substantial increase in salary and raising his market value to 45 million euros. This contract renewal served as a precursor to his eventual move to Real Madrid. The Spanish club placed little emphasis on his limited playing experience. Instead, President Florentino Perez recognized exceptional potential in the youngster and opted to take a calculated gamble. Why was this decision risky? Initially, comparisons emerged between Vini and Neymar, another prodigious Brazilian talent. However, unlike Neymar, who established dominance in Brazil prior to joining La Liga, Vini was merely 16 years old and had accumulated scant professional experience, only 17 minutes with the senior squad when his transfer agreement with Madrid was finalized. Within Brazil, skepticism abounded regarding the steep fee, questioning if this slender teenager could justify such expenditure. While transferring to Real Madrid represented considerable pressure, it marked only the start of challenges. Upon arriving at Real, Vini inherited the mantle vacated by Cristiano Ronaldo, who departed for Juventus following 9 iconic seasons at Santiago Bernabéu Stadium. Though officially replaced by Eden Hazard, frequent injuries necessitated Vini, assuming greater responsibilities prematurely. Vinicius exemplified Real's innovative approach of acquiring future superstars early in their careers. While his technical abilities and lightning-quick pace stood out prominently, concerns lingered over his psychological readiness. Could he swiftly adjust to life in a foreign league and nation? Would he cope effectively under intense scrutiny accompanying his extravagant purchase price? Initially assigned to Castilla, Vini made immediate impressions, netting 2 goals in a thrilling 2-2 stalemate versus Atletico Madrid B. The Madrid media were buzzing with calls for Lopetegui to include Vini in the starting lineup, particularly so when Real struggled to find the back of the net following Ronaldo's departure for Italy, the land of pizza, pasta, and lasagna. Initially cautious, Lopetegui allotted Vini just 12 minutes across 2 La Liga fixtures, preferring instead to let him gain experience alongside his contemporaries in Castilla. However, after enduring a humiliating 5-1 defeat to arch-rivals Barcelona in El Clásico, Lopetegui found himself relieved of his duties. Enter Santiago Solari, who promptly promoted Vini into the first-team setup. At that juncture, Vini was still green behind the ears, thrust into Real Madrid's squad amidst turbulent circumstances. Yet, Bernabeu supporters warmed rapidly to his dynamism, drawn to his electrifying pace, audacious dribbles, and boundless energy. For a fleeting spell, the luster of his performances masked underlying inconsistencies in results. Take, for instance, the Copa del Rey semi-final clash against Barcelona. Though Vini squandered several golden opportunities, he remained Real's most potent threat, relentlessly probing the Blaugrana defense. Amid the malaise enveloping Los Blancos, Vini shone like a beacon. Alas, fate intervened cruelly. Injuries curtailed his campaign prematurely, leaving him with a tally of 3 goals and 12 assists, a commendable return given the adversities surrounding the club. Alas, the halcyon days soon evaporated. With expectations rising sharply, fans grew impatient with Vini's erratic displays. Missed shots, particularly after skillfully navigating past defenders, provoked frustration among Bernabeu faithful. Relief finally came via a crucial strike against Osasuna, prompting an emotional outpouring from the forward, underscoring the immense pressure weighing upon his shoulders. March 2020 heralded Vini's crowning moment. In El Clásico, he struck decisively, guiding Real Madrid to a resounding 2-0 triumph over fierce rivals Barcelona. At 19, he etched his name into history as the youngest Madrid player to net in the derby since Raúl González. The faith reposed in Vini intensified. Fans fervently believed that the Brazilian possessed the requisite qualities to steer the team through pivotal encounters. But, as I mentioned earlier, consistency proved elusive. Following his memorable goal against Barcelona, Vini added just 1 more to his tally for the remainder of the season. More tellingly, the harshest critique originated not from journalists, but from within his own ranks. In October 2020, footage surfaced depicting Karim Benzema expressing exasperation, claiming that Vini appeared to be working against his teammates. Surprisingly, many sympathized with Benzema's viewpoint. Nonetheless, there existed a vocal minority who defended the precocious Brazilian, acknowledging his willingness to make decisive contributions. Ultimately, public sentiment mirrored Benzema's sentiments. Higher standards were anticipated from Vini. Vini endured perhaps his darkest hour in February 2021 during a Champions League encounter against Italian outfit Atalanta. After embarking on a breathtaking solo effort, circumventing multiple defenders, he confronted an unguarded net. Anticipation mounted, only to dissipate as he inexplicably fired wide. Rather than shrink away, however, Vini embraced the ensuing condemnation. Coaching staff, led by Zinedine Zidane, steadfastly backed his instinctive approach, recognizing its intrinsic value. Their trust bore fruit in April 2021, when Vini delivered arguably his finest display in a Champions League quarter-final against Liverpool. Galvanized by his blistering acceleration, he breached Liverpool's vaunted defensive unit, registering 2 sublime strikes in a comprehensive 3-1 victory. That evening confirmed unequivocally. At his zenith, Vini was extraordinary. Fast forward to the subsequent campaign, and Vinicius ascended beyond mere promise to genuine stardom. Coach Carlo Ancelotti perceived in him a ripe candidate for stardom, and Vini reciprocated accordingly. Season-opening victories over Levante highlighted his enhanced potency in front of goal. Mistimed attempts and errant finishes vanished. Supplanted by assuredness and efficacy, game after game, he cemented his reputation as a consistent performer. Beyond statistical improvement, he formed a harmonious partnership with none other than Karim Benzema, once his sternest detractor. It begged belief that Benzema had labeled him a liability barely 12 months prior. Concluding the domestic campaign victorious, La Liga champions, the team's grandest chapter awaited. In the showpiece event of European club football, the Champions League final against Liverpool, Vini scripted immortality. Locked in a tight contest, he broke the deadlock, slotting home the solitary goal from close range. His decisive intervention secured Real Madrid's record-breaking 14th continental crown. Thus, the initially doubting figure demonstrated undeniable worth on soccer's grandest platform. Time validated Florentino Perez's audacious investment in a raw, gangly youth plucked from Flamengo. By 2023, Vini's status had solidified into global renown. Yet, increased exposure invited fresh complications. Opposing defenses mastered tactics to unsettle him mentally, resorting to persistent fouls designed to bait him into confrontations. Unfazed, he concluded the term with 20 goals, punctuating his virtuosity further in a pulsating Champions League tie against Manchester City, repeatedly exposing Kyle Walker's frailties. However, events transpiring beyond the confines of the field cast a sinister shadow. Throughout the season, Vini endured grotesque racial taunts in various Spanish arenas. A low point occurred in September 2022, when television pundit Jose Antonio Camacho advised Vini to refrain from celebratory dance routines post-goals, crudely insinuating simian behavior. Worse followed in May 2023 during a fixture against Valencia, wherein sustained chants of a deeply offensive nature assaulted him mercilessly. After the match, he took to social media to denounce La Liga for its inaction. Instead of extending support, League President Javier Tebas criticized Vini. Granted, a couple of days later, Tebas issued a public apology, conceding his error. Nonetheless, this incident polarized fan allegiances. If Madrid loyalists adored him, others despised him vehemently. Undeterred, Vini maintained his excellence on the field. Post Benzema's departure, in 2023, all eyes turned toward Vinicius, burdening him with unprecedented expectation. Remarkably, he rose to meet the challenge, delivering his finest campaign thus far. Scoring upwards of 20 goals and dispensing countless assists, he epitomized the spirit of Madrid, propelling the club to dual championship successes. Beyond aesthetic brilliance, tangible impact defined his efforts. Indeed, discussions swirled regarding a possible Golden Ball award. Detractors may argue that statistically, he fell short of typical Ballon d'Or benchmarks, yet I contend otherwise. His interventions at critical junctures were irreplaceable. Recall his heroics in pivotal Champions League ties. His goal salvaged Madrid from ignominious elimination against Leipzig in the round of 16 phase. Subsequently, brace strikes against Manchester City, a double versus Bayern Munich in the semis, and ultimately a decisive goal in the grand finale. Furthermore, a stunning treble-sealed victory in the Super Cup decider against Barcelona. Collectively, these achievements rendered Vini the frontrunner for the coveted accolade. Regrettably, concurrently participating in a major international competition mandated demonstration of comparable proficiency for the Seleção Brasileira. Sadly, Vini failed to deliver, thereby losing momentum in the Ballon d'Or stakes. Reactionary fury engulfed both Vini and Real Madrid, leading to a ceremonial boycott and ceaseless censure. Infamously, Vini voiced his frustration. "I'll do it tenfold if necessary." Ideally, this declaration would inspire improvement. Conversely, the 2025 season witnessed a precipitous decline in Vini's fortunes. The symbolic defeat in the Ballon d'Or ballot signified a watershed moment. Fluctuations reminiscent of his fledgling years resurfaced. Illustratively, a remarkable hat-trick versus Borussia Dortmund contrasted starkly with a chastening reverse against Lille. Equally incongruous, an assist-laden display against Manchester City culminated abruptly with a botched penalty attempt. Early season form surpassed Kylian Mbappé, only to succumb to muscular injury. Returning from rehabilitation, he appeared bereft of rhythm, typified by ineptitude against Valencia. Fellow players, notably Antonio Rudiger, attempted reassurance, but clearly equilibrium eluded him. With Mbappe's integration, fans envisioned an invincible tandem, devastating opposing defenses. On paper, synergy seemed preordained, yet reality diverged drastically. Seldom did they synchronize cohesively. Far from complementing each other, they frequently obstructed one another along the left flank. Typically, one enjoyed a stellar outing, while the other faltered. Seldom did both flourish simultaneously. For most of the year, it was Mbappe who displayed superior form. Vini's influence gradually diminished. Once lauded as Madrid's primary protagonist, he currently occupies a peripheral role. Indeed, during the cup final, Vini arguably hindered rather than benefited the collective effort. His sway over proceedings has noticeably dwindled. Factor in the void created by Toni Kroos's absence in midfield, a player whose symbiotic relationship amplified Vini's attributes, and compound this with heightened competition for spotlight and territory on the left wing, courtesy of Mbappe. Moreover, Vini's defensive exertions pale in comparison to previous campaigns. Increasingly, he engages in verbal altercations with opposition players, rather than focusing on tactical engagement. Frankly, such conduct remains characteristic of Vini. Should he engage constructively, albeit grumbling occasionally, his antics remain forgivable. Conversely, poor performances exacerbated by petulant behavior magnify his shortcomings. Vinicius's predicament illustrates the transient nature of success in football. Merely 12 months ago, he reigned supreme. Presently, he struggles even to assert primacy within his specialized domain. Presently, validation of innate talent proves unnecessary. It has long been established. The contemporary quandary lies in acclimating to a dynamic share with another luminary, namely Mbappe. Restoration of erstwhile authority constitutes a pivotal determinant shaping his trajectory within Real Madrid. Absent rectification, alternative pathways might emerge, possibly involving linguistic fluency in Arabic. Your perspective on Vini's recent setbacks and broader disposition toward Vinicius Junior merits articulation. Kindly share your insights in the comment section below, enhancing visibility through endorsements.